When I was a kid, I ate cereal for breakfast almost every morning, like I'm sure most of you probably did. I mean, after all, it's an easy meal. Throw some cereal in a bowl, add a little milk, and you're good to go. But as I got older and learned more about nutrition, I realized that cereal is loaded with sugar, it's highly processed, and it just doesn't keep you full. And while I'm sure we can all agree that oatmeal is the better option, it can be pretty boring, especially if you're eating it the old-fashioned way. That's when I discovered baked oats. Baked oats taste like cake, they're packed with protein, and they're fairly easy to make, as long as you have an oven and a blender. So without further ado, let's jump into these recipes. Starting off with cinnamon roll baked oats. For this one, you'll need half a cup of plain Greek yogurt, a quarter cup of egg whites, 2 tablespoons of sugar-free maple syrup, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and half a cup of oats. Add all your ingredients to a blender and blend on high for about 20 to 30 seconds or until the mixture is smooth and no clumps remain. You'll then need to pour this mixture into an oven-safe baking dish sprayed with nonstick cooking oil. Then place the oats in your oven and bake them for 20 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. For the cinnamon roll topping, add a quarter cup of plain Greek yogurt, 2 teaspoons of sweetener, and 2 tablespoons of light cream cheese to a mixing bowl. Stir the ingredients around until you get that frosting-like consistency. And no, you don't have to place the frosting in a bag like I did here. I only did that so I could get a nice looking thumbnail for YouTube. Once the oats are done, add the frosting on top and enjoy. The macros for these cinnamon roll baked oats are 340 calories, 47 grams of carbs, 7 grams of fat, and 30 grams of protein. One last thing I want to say is that if you're using pasteurized egg whites, you don't have to worry about undercooking the eggs, so cook them to your desired consistency. I personally like my baked oats on the undercooked side because you'll find that too much time in the oven can dry out the texture. Next up, we have chocolate baked oats with white chocolate chips. For this one, you'll need half a cup of oats, 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of instant espresso, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of sweetener, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 3/4 cup of plain Greek yogurt, and a 1/4 cup of egg whites. Combine all of these ingredients to a blender and blend on high for 20 to 30 seconds or until the mixture is smooth and no clumps remain. Then transfer the mixture to an oven-safe baking dish sprayed with nonstick cooking oil. Bake the oats for 10 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. Add 1 tablespoon of white chocolate chips and place the oats back in the oven for 5 to 10 minutes. The reason why I didn't add the chocolate chips before baking is because the mixture was so thin there was a chance they would sink to the bottom, but if you don't care about that, you can add the chocolate chips in the beginning. Once the timer is done, allow the oats to cool and enjoy. The macros for these chocolate baked oats are 375 calories, 54 grams of carbs, 8 grams of fat, and 31 grams of protein. Last but not least, we have chocolate peanut butter baked oats. For this one, you'll need half a cup of oats, half a cup of reduced fat milk, 1 scoop of vanilla protein powder, 1 tablespoon of powdered peanut butter, and half a teaspoon of baking powder. If you're still watching this video, you already know to add all these ingredients to a blender and blend on high for 20 to 30 seconds or until the mixture is smooth and no clumps remain. Then transfer the mixture to an oven-safe baking dish and add 10 grams of mini chocolate chips. If you want to use sugar-free chocolate chips, that's also an option. Bake the oats for 14 to 16 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. And lastly, as a topping, I'm just using 1 more tablespoon of powdered peanut butter. I love this stuff. It tastes just like regular peanut butter, only with much less calories and fat. The macros for these chocolate peanut butter baked oats are 443 calories, 49 grams of carbs, 10 grams of fat, and 41 grams of protein. So that's 3 different ways you can make high protein baked oats. One last thing I want to talk about is meal prepping. I'm sure you noticed that each recipe here was for 1 serving, but that doesn't mean you can't make a larger batch. If you want to meal prep any of these baked oats, multiply the ingredients by 4 or 5 and bake them in a larger dish. A 9 by 13 inch glass baking dish should be big enough. Just keep in mind, you will need to increase the amount of cooking time with a larger volume of ingredients. The edges will cook first and the center will cook last, so pay attention to that. Well, that's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more macro-friendly recipes, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.